Now notice every time I come to File New, it remembers the last thing I did. That's called being sticky. So if you're doing a lot of, like I am, web at 960 by 560, well, it remembers that, makes life easier. I'm going to click OK. And there we go. The other thing about File New is you have defaults in all of your panels, like swatches, brushes, symbols, all that kind of stuff. So even though in the previous lesson we added some symbols to our symbols panel, they're not there because they're not part of this document. In this lesson, let's look at making our own. Now you can do it in a couple of ways. One would be to literally draw something on the screen. Okay, just draw it on the screen and then save it as a symbol. Or another way, which sometimes can be rather economical, is to basically start with a symbol that you like and modify it and then use it. Let's do it that way. Let's come over here and look here, because I want to tell you something. There are literally hundreds, if not thousands, of different symbols under these buttons. But I guarantee you, no matter how many Adobe makes for us, and they do a pretty good job, we're going to want to make one of our own. So let's do this. Let's go back to flowers because I'm in a very conservative mood. And let's say this one is very close to something that we want, but it isn't quite there. So let's go ahead and click it to add it up here. We can close it here. How do we convert our own? Now again, we can either draw it over here or we can do this. Drag it from the symbols library over here. That's all you have to do so far. Now next, it is still a symbol. Okay, it is still a symbol. Let's go ahead and bring out our symbol sprayer stuff here. Put it up there. Okay, just in case we want to use it. It's still a symbol. What do we have to do? Well, what we have to do is break it apart by clicking this button right here. Make sure it's selected. And now it's just as if we drew it. So whether we start out by drawing it from scratch or we pull one out, we're at that same place right now. Let's make that bigger. You're going to work on this thing, make it big. Okay. It is in a group by default. It does not have to be in a group to be a symbol, but that's how they come out when you break them apart. I'm going to go up to the word object and go down to ungroup. Okay, if I pick up my regular run-of-the-mill old selection tool, I can then come over here and begin doing things to it. Okay, now you can do anything you want. Let's say we don't want that piece in the middle. We don't want that. We don't want any of these, or maybe we want those, but we don't want this, so we've got that. Okay, and you say, well, I don't know, I don't want those pieces either. So if we come over here and select them, we can delete those too. Now, if you have something about these that are very unique, like if we select this one right here, and we say select, and we go into same, and we say fill color, for example, we get them all because nothing else is that unique color, and we can delete them much faster. This, I'm going to select it. And I'm going to, let's see, go into my standard gradients over here. And we have this one right here. It's called Sky, and it does that. So I'm going to go into my gradient options, and I'm going to make that a radial. Well, you decide what you want to do. Maybe that's all you want to do. Maybe you want to change the colors of the petals. Maybe you want to take petals out, add petals, add a stem. Whatever you want to do, do it. Let's say we're done. Let's go ahead and get back down to an acceptable size. And you say, well, besides that, maybe it does need to be a little bit bigger, Andy. Well, come over here and pick up your selection tool and marquee the whole thing. Go to a corner and make it bigger. Hold the shift key if you want to keep that proportion. And you say, yeah, that's what I want. Now to get it back over here, because right now it's just an object, either we drew it or we started with what we had. Select it again. You don't have to group it if you don't want to. It doesn't matter. Come over here and drag it in. It's the easiest way. Just drag it in. Now we'll ask you for a name. It's not a movie clip. It's a graphic. This other stuff, don't worry about it yet. Click OK. There it is. Now we can get rid of this one by deleting it. We can select this one over here, pick up our paint can, that's what I call it, a paint can, and begin spraying our new flower on the screen. Be a logo, it could be your name, it could be a mosquito. I don't care what it is. If you can draw it, if you can copy it, you can make it a symbol.